Hey, it's Veronica with Craft Review. Today I'm making handmade gnome cards. I really enjoyed making this one. These cards are highly customizable. You can switch out any of the materials to make them suitable for whatever holiday or event is coming up for you. For my tools, I'll need a hot glue gun, a pair of scissors, some colorful pens and markers, my pattern pieces, and a needle and thread. The pattern pieces are for the gnome hat and beard, and you can just eyeball those, but if you don't want to do that, you can just link to the website below and print them off pretty easily. If you want to eyeball them, here's how tall they are, and that should help. And for my materials, I'm doing a Christmas gnome card, so they're centered around that. I have a piece of cardstock, a 3x3 inch piece of fabric or paper for the gnome hat, a small piece of faux fur for the beard, a cotton ball, a wooden bead for the nose, and about 2 feet of trim. I'm using baby rickrack. First, I'm going to use my hat pattern to cut out a piece of cereal box cardboard, and that's going to be used as the base for the hat. Then I'm going to cut out my beard with the small part of the pattern on the bottom of the beard. So that's the side of the fabric that is going to have the fur hanging off of it, like this. Then I'm going to turn my fabric upside down to the back side, and I'm going to add a thin line of glue around the edge of the hat cardboard, just a light amount of glue, and I'm going to glue that to the fabric. And when that's cool, I'm going to cut around that triangle, leaving about a 1/2 inch of fabric around the edge. But as I'm cutting, I'm going to clip these corners so that the fabric doesn't overlap when I turn it in. And that'll look like this. Now I'm going to do some extra trimming since these are pretty narrow corners. And now I'm ready to turn those sides in. So one by one, I'm going to add a thin line of glue and turn those pieces of fabric to the back side of the hat. And when you're done, your hat should look about like this. Next, I'm sewing the wooden bead to the top of the beard for the nose. I'm going to do one little anchor stitch here. And then center the nose on the front about a 1/4 inch down from the top of the fabric. And I'll just attach the nose there with a few stitches. And then I'll double knot and cut my thread. And my beard and nose will look like this. Now getting to the base of the card, I'm going to fold that piece of cardstock I have in half, and then flatten that edge with the blunt edge of my scissors. Next, I'm going to put the trim on. I'm going to do 2 lengths of trim on the top and bottom of the card. So I'll need 4 pieces of trim that are each the width of the card. My trim was a little thin, so my glue ended up showing through a little bit, but I find that ribbons and wider trims work a little bit better if you don't want the glue showing through. I'm just going to add these one at a time. And when I'm done, I'm going to clip the edges with anything that's hanging over, and my card will look like this. Next, I'm going to write my sentiment on the front. I'm writing Merry Christmas. And then to make that writing pop, I'm outlining the left side of the lines of the letters with a little bit of color. Then I'll get my beard ready and start placing that. And I wanted the fur of the beard to hang over the trim at the bottom of the card just a little bit so that you can still see the trim. And then I'll glue that down first. And on top of that, I'm going to put the hat. And I want the hat to overlap the beard just a little bit. Next, I'm going to use the cotton ball to make a little pom-pom for the top of the hat. I'm going to use a dab of hot glue to put that in place. I'm just going to press that down and make sure it dries where I want. And now my card is looking very close to finished, but I want to add a little something more to the front. So since this is a Santa gnome, I'm going to go with ho ho ho. All of these are so customizable though, so for the birthday one, I did confetti on the front, and for the St. Patrick's Day card I made, I used shamrocks, and you can get really creative for whatever situation you're using the card for. And now I'm done. And this is my Christmas gnome card. And here's my St. Patrick's Day gnome card. And a birthday gnome card. I hope you enjoyed making these gnome cards with me. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And if you want to subscribe to my channel Craft Review, I would love to have you. Thank you for watching. Bye.